everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about the first holiday I've ever been to on my own, which is Menorca. Menorca, I'm just going to say it how I say it. I'm sorry if that's pronounced wrong. We've got a bit of a wet dog look going on because I just washed my hair and I'm letting it air dry, so please excuse that. Let's just get into the video. Just a little note, so I'm sitting to the side here and I'll put like photos, videos, information about like what I'm saying up here as the video goes on. Got my laptop here with a bunch of notes because I need notes. I do remember it obviously, but I like to have notes to like structure it out because, as you know, usually I just ramble on and say whatever comes into my messy mind, and that doesn't work very well. Just a bit of a backstory. I'm obviously from Hungary and I moved to the UK when I was about 9. So I guess that in itself was a kind of going abroad for the first time and like holiday. But obviously we stayed here a bit longer than a holiday, 10 years now. So yeah, I don't count that as like going, well, it is going abroad, but I don't count it as a holiday. And I have been back to Hungary to like visit family, and again, I don't count that as a holiday because it never felt like a holiday. It felt more of a just a few days away, and I wouldn't say going home because England has been more of a home to me than Hungary ever has, but yeah, it just didn't feel like a holiday ever. Menorca, when I went last year, it was like my first ever proper holiday, and I went completely on my own. So I was 18 at the time. After my A-levels, I really wanted to go somewhere, do something big to basically celebrate and treat myself for, you know, just making it through the exams basically. And I had an opportunity with some money to book a holiday somewhere I wanted, and I had a look on to be honest, I didn't really look around and shop around. I just went on TUI website, which I heard of a lot in like advertisements, and maybe some friends. Some individuals I heard travelled with TUI and they said it was good. So I basically went straight away to TUI, which in hindsight was maybe not the best option because their prices, I think, are actually a bit higher than what prices should be, and I know there's a lot cheaper ones out there. But anyway, I went with TUI and I found this holiday to Menorca. It was 5 nights in July 2022. So I'm gonna say the price, but don't base anything off it because obviously it's been over a year now, so you know prices are fluctuating all the time. But that was 5 nights all inclusive for £518.59. I'll pop it up here because I hate saying numbers. And it was all inclusive, so full board, breakfast, lunch, dinner, hotel, and airport transfers included. So when I get to Menorca, transfer from the airport to the hotel and then hotel to the airport. Oh, it was TUI flights, so it wasn't like they did it with a different flight company, it was TUI flights. It also included 15 kilograms of checked-in baggage and hand luggage, which was, I found it really cool. I don't think people do this, to be honest, but I took like a little suitcase or like a hand luggage suitcase and I checked that in because I couldn't be bothered carrying. That just made me very happy. I flew from Manchester Airport to Mahon Airport, I think that's how you say it. That's like the capital of Menorca, but I did not know that at the time. So when I was actually like on the plane and I was like, oh, I'm doing so well, you know, all on my own. And I was on the plane and the flight person was saying like, oh yeah, we're going to Mahan, we're gonna have a good time, whatever. And I was just looking like, what about Menorca? Am I on the wrong flight? And then he said like, that's where we go, basically. So it was fine after, but for a minute I was probably freaking out if I'm on the right flight. The flight, I don't actually know how long it lasted. It was pretty quick, to be honest, and in the UK it was raining, and in Menorca it was nice and sunny and warm, so that was great. When I got off the flight, going through security was my favourite thing ever. Or is that what? Border control? Security? Whatever. The thing you have when you get off a flight. That was honestly so much fun because I obviously have an EU passport because I've got the Hungarian passport, and I was travelling from England, so most of the people on the plane were British, so they all had to queue up one way, and I got to go in the EU lane, and basically I just walked through and got out straight away while other people were queuing. But I had to wait anyway for my suitcase, so it wasn't that much of a big deal, but I was just very I don't know, happy that I got out so fast. There were, when you got out the airport, there were like TUI individuals everywhere, and they all spoke English, so it wasn't like very scary or difficult to find your way around, because you just went up to one of them and they like guided me to my coach, which took me to my hotel. So the first hotel I stayed in was Victoria Playa in Santo Tomas, which is a village in the south coast of Menorca. This was the hotel I was supposed to stay in for the full 5 nights. 5 nights? Yeah, full 5 nights. We'll get into more of what happened later, but so I got there and I couldn't check in yet because it was like before check-in time, but there was like a luggage room where I could leave my bags. So I left it there, left my suitcase there, and I went with my backpack to like the beach, basically, because right outside the hotel you like took a few steps and there was the beach, which I found was amazing. But I did go very wrong in that instance because I was all sweaty, and then I put sun cream on, which made me more sweaty, and then I sat in the sand in my clothes because I didn't have any like beach towels on me. So I just sat in the sand and got sand all over me, basically. And I had to be out there for a few hours till check-in time. And I was just very pissed off by the end because I hated the sand and it was all stuck to me. And then I tried to like sit to the side on a wall in the shade, and that was just very uncomfortable. That was basically my fault because I was just stupid and didn't know how to handle the situation at the time. And I didn't know there was like back garden to the hotel where like a swimming pool was, and you know, nice chairs and stuff and food. So I just messed up to begin with. But then when I got to check in, I got to my room and I was very happy with it. I had a view of like a forest area, so it wasn't like the beach or anything, but I was fine with it. I had like a little balcony. I'm sure if I find some like stuff I'll just insert it here. It was ensuite, I think. Is that a given on a holiday? Maybe an all-inclusive one? I don't know. I had a bathroom anyway, and I was very happy with it. It had like a bath as well, which was great. I just, I showered, got all the sand off. I can't remember what I did next. I think I went to try the food. Yeah, I think it was like dinner time So I went to try the food and I didn't really like it, to be honest. There was like a lot of things, like a great variety of things, but I don't know why, I just wasn't vibing with it on the first day. So the second day, I really enjoyed the breakfast, and I actually went down to chill by the pool. Well, literally no one was there, only like a few people, and I laid down on a, what is it called, sunbed, and read my book, and I was just chilling, enjoying life. And then I went for a walk around the area, so obviously I saw the beach, and there was, you know, little paths. I love little paths. And I also discovered the shop and bought some snacks, and you know, I was just vibing. And I went to have lunch a bit earlier than most people, I would say. So as soon as like they opened, I went to have lunch. And then I think I showered after that. And from here is where the story gets interesting. I came out of the shower and I can hear like shouting from outside, like the balcony somewhere next door to me. And I was like, oh, what's happening? Like, is someone fighting? But I was like, no, I'm gonna ignore it. Obviously, it's probably, you know, just someone shouting. Anyway, so I was just, you know, getting dressed, but the shouting wouldn't stop. So I was like, curious me. I looked out and I couldn't see anyone from my side, but I could see smoke coming from, sorry, this way, smoke coming from the side that was like where the shouting was coming from. I didn't think this is a good thing, but like, bear in mind, like, there was no like fire alarms or anything. It was just, I could see smoke, and I was like, are they like smoking outside, like on the balcony? But then I was like, this doesn't look like cigarette smoke. This looks like smoke. So to be honest, I didn't freak out. I stayed pretty calm. My mind was just like, I don't think this smoke is a good thing. I should probably get out. So my instant reaction was like, okay, I'm dressed. I grabbed my phone and my keys, like my key card thing. And as I go out of like the room, the corridor, it's all dark. And it wasn't dark before. There were lights on before. And I was like, something is very wrong here. So I start like making my way to, you know, the stairs. There's like no one around on my corridor, my side of the corridor. And as I like keep going on the corridor, there's these fire doors that just start closing. And I'm like, I'm gonna get dropped in here. So I like quickly run through. That's when I started panicking, to be honest, because I didn't want to like get locked in there. So I like quickly run through, and I see like from the other side of the corridor, like the other side of the building basically, there's this lady who's like freaking out with a baby in her hand, and like she's shouting in like, I think it was Spanish, but it could have been any language to be honest. She was shouting in some language at her husband or boyfriend to like, come on, we need to go. And like I felt so bad for her because she was like proper freaking out. But when I saw them freaking out, I was like, wait a minute, this is like something very serious. I need to hurry up and get out of here. Obviously the lifts were like stopped, so we had to run down, I think 3-4 flights of stairs. But we went down like 2, and that's when we got to the lunch area. So it was dark everywhere as we were going down, only from, you know, lights from the windows, like all the lights were just gone off. And still no fire alarm, bear in mind. And so people from the lunch area, because it was still lunchtime, they were like filing out in piles, and they were like a lot of British people. I could hear them just talking like, what's going on, why are we going down, why did they turn our lights off, why are they kicking us out of the lunchroom? And I turned around to one of them and I was like, you know, I think there's a fire. And he was like, oh, is there? Why is there no fire alarm going off? And then we got to the bottom and they were like, just go. Like, there was staff at the bottom and they were like, go out. So we just filed out, basically. So in front of the hotel, like near the shops and the roads and everything, basically just a lot of people just sitting around. And that's where we could see, like, at the side of the hotel. Apparently it was the boiler room. It was just smoking casually, just smoking away. And yeah, turns out there was a fire at my hotel. Which to me, I was like, holy shit. But at the same time, I was laughing because I was like, my first time abroad, my first like proper hotel experience. Of course. What else could happen? Like a fire. But I was happy because I was out. And I had my phone. So I just started like texting my mom and people at home like, oh, guess what, guys? There's a fire. But I'm out, I'm okay, but there's a fire. And everyone was just laughing at me, like, obviously this won't happen to me. At the start, when we all got out, we were just, you know, standing around near the entrance. Well, like, the other side of the road from the entrance. And we were just watching, and I think I filmed a clip of the smoke, maybe. And then I was like, wait a minute, this sun is actually very hot. And I just showered, so I have no sun cream on me. And I left my sun cream inside. So at first I was like, oh, it's fine, I'll just find some shade. Turns out that shade was only shading like my upper half. So knees down, my legs were just sticking out in the sun, casually burning away, which after was not a nice experience, but at the time I was just, you know, in the moment. And yeah, so I sat there for a while. I was talking to people back in England on the phone. Eventually I went into the little supermarket across the street, and I bought a beach towel, because I was like, I did not have that last time, and you know what, why am I just sitting here when the beach is right next to me? So I bought a beach towel, and I bought a Menorca bag. I will insert a picture of that here because I still use that to this day, and it's the best purchase ever. And I also bought a little bag. Do I have that on me now? Wait a minute. Yeah, so I also bought this little bag, just a zip bag, and just, yeah, I don't know what I've got inside it right now, but I just bought this bag because I was like, oh, this fits my phone and my key card, so I'll just like carry it. And then when I got to the till, that's when I was like, oh, I'll buy a bigger bag for the beach towel. And yeah, so I got the Menorca bag, the beach towel, and I got some snacks and drinks because I was not aware that I was still not aware like of the back garden to the hotel where they still had like a snacks thing open, like a buffet. But yeah, anyway, so I just got my own food basically, and I think I chilled on the beach for a little bit, and then that's when I realized like I just had enough of the sand, so I was walking back up and people were going in the skate at the side towards the hotel, and I was like, wait a minute, what's this? And I walked in and basically it was packed, you know, like that's where this swimming pool was, but like there was like a lot of grassy area at the side, so I knew of the swimming pool from the other side, but there was a lot of grass, trees, and basically a window where they were like giving out sandwiches, drinks. That was like this snacks buffet that was open before and after lunchtime, I think it was. That was where basically all the people who got out of the hotel went, because backtrack. When I came out of the supermarket, you know, all the crowds that I came out with were gone, and I was like, where have they gone? Like, have they just walked off? We weren't allowed back inside, so I knew like they haven't gone back inside. But yeah, a lot of them have gone to the beach, so that was packed as well. It was like a smaller beach, so yeah, that was packed. And also this garden area was packed as well. When I found that garden area, I was like, oh yes, why did I not know of this before? This was like hours later basically, and there was like lots of shady areas. There was lots of areas with shade. So I just laid down my beach towel and just relaxed basically. I think did I have a book on me? I think I might have had a book on me. I don't know when I got that, but yeah, because I remember trying to read. Oh, when I had my sunglasses, I was lucky with that. Yeah, so when I got out of the room, I had my phone, my sunglasses, my key card, and potentially a book. See, I'm starting to remember things. And yeah, only a little bit after I saw like there's tables and chairs, and that's when I saw like the snacks bar. That was actually still open and running because it was like on this side of the hotel and the fire was on the exact opposite side. So yeah, I don't know if they were oblivious to what was happening, but yeah, they were still running. And then at one point, that's when like staff from like the main entrance came around and they were like, yeah, you need to stop now, you need to like close down. And and they basically like closed down that like room towards the rest of the building, and like somehow put out this like this fridge thing to like block the entrance, and they were giving out stuff like that instead of people actually walking in and just taking stuff. So I was just sitting around casually, and then suddenly people started walking towards the main entrance, and I was like, what's going on? Can we go back inside? Is it over? So like fire trucks and police came and everything. Obviously I saw that before, and they eventually all left. So I was like, is it over? Can we go back? Can I get some sun cream? That's when we waited around a bit more near like the entrance, and then the reception lady eventually was like, yeah, just go and whatever. So we all like went back to our rooms. They were like, oh yeah, the lift's out of order. So we had to like walk up the stairs, and that was fine. I was fine with walking up the stairs, but it was still all dark everywhere. I got back to my room, and the key card wasn't working. It was just, I could just open it. So I was a bit concerned, like, what's going on? Can anyone just walk into my room? But to me, it was like, oh, it's fine. I'm finally back. It's over. I can relax. Yeah, it didn't really hit me at the time. Like, the lights are still off and the keycard's not working. But anyway, I got back in the room, and instead of like thinking too much about it, I was just like, oh, I'm gonna go and actually enjoy the time near the pool now, because, you know, it's finally over and I know like the garden area now, so I just want to go back down there and just enjoy it. I don't even know what I got then. I think that's when I got my book. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting really confused here. That's when I got my book. And oh, I got my bikini as well. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna go swimming. No one's stopping me now. I had enough of this. And yeah, I just got more of my stuff and went back down and found a nice what is it called? Chair? What are they called? You know, those big chairs that you sit on by the pool. Oh, I forgot what they're called now. Anyway, I found one of them for myself, and next to me was this British couple, and I heard them talking in English, and they were like, what is happening? Why are so many people going in? Like, what's going on? And and I turned to them and I was like, oh, there was a fire and like we had to come out, but you can go back in now. And they were like, what? Like, some of the people who were like in the garden, they did not know anything has happened. They were just chilling there, okay? No one was informed of anything, and like with no fire alarm. People just did not know. And that's when like a family came around, like a lady with a kid, and then the boyfriend came as well. And that's when the lady was like to us, I suppose she heard us talking in English, and she was like, yeah, the fire, my boyfriend was just sleeping inside. He didn't even know. I just woke him up. And I'm like, what? What? You were like stuck inside? I was just like, if I like was still in the shower, I would not even know anything. And then a TUI person came around and he was like, yeah, anyone with TUI? Anyone with TUI? And me and the couple were like, yeah, we are. And that's when they were like, yeah, so basically what's happening is that there's no water, there's no electricity, and we find that these conditions are like not suitable to live in, basically, for the rest of your holiday, and we're gonna move you to another hotel. So you just go and pack your bags, and everyone meet downstairs at 6 o'clock. Yeah, 6 p.m. I think it was, like in the main area, reception area. And we were like, oh, okay. And so everyone just went packing from TUI, and I think from Jet2 as well. Yeah, so I just ran. And at that point, I was very hot. Obviously I got sunburn and I was just not feeling well. Like, obviously the aircon has gone off as well in the hotel. So it was just very hot and stuffy everywhere. But I like packed my bags. I checked the room so many times, like, have I got everything? Have I got everything? And then when I went downstairs and I got there before a lot of people. Before a lot of people. So I was like, oh, I'll sit in this seating area. But then I was like, but that's not really the main entrance. So I went like around to the main entrance, and that's when like crowds started coming in. And basically the main entrance reception area was just full of people with suitcases, some with children, some children running around, and we just started sitting on the floor. So I sat on the floor near the lifts, because there was a wall there, it was cold. So I was just sitting there, and I don't know why I didn't get my like fan out. I had like a fan on me and I didn't get it out. To be honest, I don't know where it was because I didn't know where I put it because I just shoved everything in the suitcase and my backpack. I was feeling like nauseous and I just wanted to lay down, get out of there, whatever. And it took a while for the TUI people to sort this out. But at the same time, like, I'm very grateful to them and the service they did, and the fact that they did it so fast in like the emergency situation that happened. I don't want to like shame them at all. Like, to me it felt like a long time sitting there, but I do know it does like take a long time to sort that many people out. And then slowly they were trying to take out the people with children first, and then somehow that didn't work, so some people came back, and yeah, some people got sent back. And then we went down like by names. Yeah, so our name just got called out, got a coach number, went to the coach, and that's when like another person was saying, right, you're going to this place. And she said my place, and I was just like, oh, okay. She like already left to the next person, and I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't understand what she said. So I was just like, okay, well, I'm sure this is where the coach is going. Like, surely not another place, right? Turns out that coach went to like 4 different places to drop people off at different hotels. There was a girl behind me, and I asked her, I heard her say basically the same thing as the lady said, and she said Marina Park, and I was like, oh, okay, that's where we go, Marina Park. And I was like to her, like, are you going to Marina Park? And she was like, yes, are you too? So we just stuck together, basically, because she was alone as well. So we got transferred to Hotel 2, Marina Park in Arena de Castello. I'm not sure if that's how you say it. That was a town instead of the village that we were before. And it was also on the north coast of Menorca rather than the south. I got there around 10 p.m. I got into my room around 10 p.m, I know that. We checked in. They made us pay tourist tax again. So basically, at the hotels in Menorca, I don't know how it is now, but when I went, it was that you have to pay tourist tax for all the days you stay, and it depends on like the number of stars your hotel has. So my first hotel, I think it was 3 stars, and Marina Park was 4. So it was more for that. But obviously I was not at fault for getting moved to this hotel. So we paid it anyway, but they said they'll refund it to us. Like, don't worry about it, you'll get it refunded. This Marina Park place, it wasn't a hotel. It was basically like apartments scattered around, like different apartment complexes, and lots of swimming pools and different bars and snack areas. And yeah, it was a lot bigger than the other place in terms of like it being scattered around, and instead of getting a room you get an apartment. Looking back, I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like the next day I was like, this is amazing, this is like different than the other place was. But that night, when they were like, oh yeah, here's your key, you go up there and around and the back, and that's where it is. That's where your apartment is. And I was just like, okay. It was dark. There wasn't really people around, and I had to like walk on this little path and then walk around, and I got out on a road. And there was like a back of a restaurant on one side and like apartments on the other. And I was like, wait, is this still the hotel site? Where am I going? But I did eventually find my apartment, which I was very thankful for. Again, it was all dark. It had like a living area, I will insert things here, a living area, a bathroom, and then a separate bedroom area with a lot of doors, a lot of rooms, and a lot of windows. I was just freaking out a bit, and I like went through really carefully checking all like wardrobes and stuff, like, is anyone already in here? But yeah, that was just my nerves just going crazy that night. After like the whole day, that's when it all caught up to me, like, what just happened? The second day at Marina Park, so the third day of my holiday out of the 5, that was just getting used to the new place, basically. Knowing where to go for breakfast again, know where to go to places. The food was different. Again, it was a large variety of things, and it did actually have better food in some ways overall, in my opinion. But yeah, it was just getting used to everything again. Also, I had you know, an all-inclusive band from the first hotel, and then they gave me another band for the second hotel, or like this apartment area. When when I look back, the 3 to 4 stars upgrade, I definitely saw that. Like Marina Park, I think I definitely saw that. Obviously, after that, I was like overjoyed when I actually like realized where I was and like it's a better place. I was like, this is crazy. Turns out there was also a water park that I had full access to because I paid like all-inclusive, which was nice. I checked that out on one of the days. It wasn't, I feel like it wasn't that much for me. I think it was more for kids. And it wasn't like a big water park. It had like 3 watery things like slides, and I'm not even sure what it was, but I basically went in one of them and it was just like a pool, but I think it was a bit too little for me. I'm glad that I like, you know, had a chance to experience that, even if it wasn't like the perfect thing ever. Obviously I wouldn't have had that at the other hotel. And yeah, I also went to find some shops. So this Marina Park basically was, you know, a little village town on itself. Is that the right way to say it? Basically, it was just, you know, a whole area, like a campus, rather than like the other hotel was, where it's hotel, beach, and then shops right next to each other. So the shops for this were a bit further away, but it wasn't that much of a walk, but it was more hilly, that's for sure. And yeah, I went to find a shop, which was good. I got some snacks. I also found a little gift shop, which was nice because I didn't see that on the other place, and I got some gifts there. And the big thing was finding the beach, right? So the beach was further away. than obviously the few steps of walk like the other hotel. One of the days I went to look for the beach using Google Maps, and I actually went the right way the first time, I just did not know. So I went like to the very end and like I saw the water, and instead of turning right I turned left, and that's when I got into like hotel gardens like I had with the other hotel, and I was like, this is not this is not my area, this is like not a public area, this is like part of the hotel and I should not be going this way. And instead of turning right and seeing what's that way, I turned back and went off in a completely other direction. Basically, I could see the sea, so I was just like, oh, I'll go around the hotel parks and I'll get down there. No. I went uphill for a solid 30-40 minutes and I could still see the sea, but it was still as far away as, you know, it was before. There were a lot of just holiday houses, just people chilling, people in gardens, people, you know, tending to flowers, it was such a, you know, a holiday vibe. I really enjoyed it. But at the same time, I was walking up and down hill and that was just a mess. I got to this kind of lookout. I don't know what you call it, but I went like up there, down there, because I was like on top and there were a few little stairs and you went down, and that from there I could see like the whole beach. And that's when I saw like the entrance to the beach was like down there, and I think that's where I was before. I was just too stupid to go that way. So when I saw that, I took some pictures, videos. Yeah, after that I just couldn't be bothered going back down the original way. I just went back to the hotel, to my room, and chilled there for a while. It was nicer this second time around, this second hotel, because the people I moved hotels with, I got to know some of them, which was nice because I had like social interactions. Otherwise I wouldn't have talked to anyone, to be honest. But this way, I sometimes when I went for breakfast or lunch or dinner, I got to sit with some people and we got to chat, which was really nice. And everyone was really friendly. And one of them said to me like, oh, did you see the beach? It's really nice. It's like nicer than the other one was. And I was like, oh yeah, I tried to find it, but I couldn't. And she told me which way to go, that you have to turn right. So I went to try and find it again. And literally, as I turned right, it was right down some steps, and that's where like the beach entrance was. So I was very close the other day, but just didn't quite make it. In my opinion, it was a lot of a nicer beach than the one at the first place. So I would prefer the north coast to the south coast. I chilled by the beach, I chilled by the pool, and eventually it was home time. The transfer situation was a bit of a strange one because I had the TUI app and in there it still said Victoria Playa to the airport. And obviously I was not at Victoria Playa, I was at Marina Park, the other side of the island. So there was a TUI representative there each day, and I asked her, like, what is this about? Is this gonna get sorted? Like, what's going on? Will I have a transfer, or do I have to make my own way to the airport? And she was really nice as well. She told me, like, don't worry about it. On the day, you'll either get a message from me, or like someone will let you know where to go. So the transfer situation was fine. I got it sorted in the end. I made it to the airport. The queues were long at the original suitcase check-in. Yeah, and then security came. Or, you know, that area where they just check you over. I think it's called security. I'm gonna call it that anyway. And that's when, you know, when you walk through that little door so like they check you. I walked through, and the guy at the side in Spanish was like, come here, come to the side, come around. And I was like, what's going on? And he was like, where's your dad? Where's your father? And I'm like, what? And he's like, where's your father? How old are you? And I'm like, 18. And he's like, where's your father? And I'm like, I'm alone, traveling solo. And that's when he was like, right, okay. And then he got this little paper slip thing, and like he went over my hands with it, and he checked my laptop as well with it. And I got told when I got back by a friend that it's like a drug test. So a lot of, apparently, a lot of people smuggle drugs from there with like teenagers to like other countries, and I was not aware of that. But I got freaked out because like, where's my father? Just like, not with me. And yeah, after that it was a smooth journey, except when I was waiting for the plane and I got a text from my part-time work boss that he doesn't need me anymore. So I basically got fired. But to be honest, I was not upset. I was actually very happy about that because I didn't like that job. It was great people and like an okay environment, but I just didn't like the customer service job itself. I was actually dreading going back to that job when I got back home. So that in some ways was a kind of perfect end to the holiday. Just a last bit to finish off. So as I said, I paid tourist tax at both hotels, and I eventually got refunded the second one. I did have to write a few emails to TUI, and they did call me, the after travel team, they did call me a few times. And that's also how I got my £200 voucher for another holiday. That was basically a compensation for the fire that happened and me having to move hotels. So yeah, that's how I got my £200 voucher, which I am using now as a Germany holiday in September. Also, again, with TUI. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had the money for a holiday right now. So that voucher helped me out a lot. That's it. That's my story. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was kind of a big rant. But yeah, that was my first ever holiday experience, especially traveling alone at 18 years old. And yeah, I hope you got some insight into Menorca as a place. And I hope you consider TUI as a holiday company. I don't know what to say anymore. Yeah, I just hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like, subscribe, comment down below what you want to see more of. I do have the more travel content coming up. So yeah, I just hope you enjoy. See you next time.